Hello and welcome back. Today's movie is called It's What's Inside. This is a 2024 horror movie made by Netflix, posted on their platform. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Our movie starts out with a TikTok video. Also, why is Lexa from the 100 on TikTok? We may never know. Also, what the f*** is this shit ass wig? Okay, so it makes sense. She put on the shitty wig to try and entice her boyfriend, even though she's totally fucking hot and her boyfriend should not need any enticing literally at all. Doing this to please the boyfriend that has about 100 tabs of porn open and was about to beat off to Lexa from the 100 TikTok. Clark is gonna be pissed. So not only is porn addicted dude watching some other chick to get off, his girlfriend has bought a wig to make herself look more like TikTok girl because she obviously knows her boyfriend is extremely attracted to Chiquita Banana. And not only is he being a total dick about it, like making it hella fucking weird that his girlfriend is putting in all of this effort just to get herself banged, which, like, honey, come to my house. I will help you with that. Girly pops, please take this free advice. If you have to put on a wig and pretend to be another person to get your boyfriend interested in having sex with you, he doesn't fucking like you and you need to leave him. So yeah, that's the first 5 minutes, just kind of really establishing a baseline for how painful this movie is gonna be. There's this social media bit that I do kind of enjoy. It's a little bit overstimulating, very fast paced, reading comments, looking at posts. So obviously Girly Pop is going through it. She's trying so hard to be somebody that she isn't. And it apparently has brought her to the point where she needs to be medicated, which, I'm sorry. If your man is acting in such a way that you feel the need to be medicated, he ain't the right one. At this, about 20-minute mark of the movie, meet the rest of our ragtag team. Let me introduce you to the group of friends. So we have Brooke. She's a stoner. That's her main personality trait. That's pretty much it. Brooke's a stoner. And we really don't learn many other things about her. We have Maya, hippie chick. She is super down to earth, real chill. She used to date Ruben. Ruben is the one who's getting married. He is still in love with his ex, Maya. We have Shelby, the girl who put on the wig in the beginning, who has that fuck-ass boyfriend and who has the absolutely huge complex about this other woman, Nikki. Nikki is our social media girly pop. Her really only attribute, other than being an influencer, is the fact that she's allergic to peanuts. That's it. Cyrus is the white man who hates his girlfriend and is in love with Nikki. Dennis is a horn dog, rich / fuckboy. Again, those are really his only personality traits. Genuinely. And last, and definitely least, we have Forbes, an absolute fucking creep. He is a brainiac who, in the beginning, all that we really know about him is that he got expelled from the college that they all went to. They're all college friends, and I guess this is supposed to be years and years past their graduation, but I swear they all still pretty much look like they're in their early 20s, but whatever. Just want to point out this uterus statue that's getting stabbed. It's gonna come back to haunt all of us. Prepare yourself. Why that white man just put his hands inside the vagina of the uterus statue? Don't know. It was unnecessary and it made me feel uncomfy. In the most manic way possible, we get an exposition dump right after we meet our 6 main characters. Hold on, let me count here. Seven main characters? Yeah, so huge exposition dump immediately after we meet everybody. Forbes, the guy who got expelled, incredibly smart. We cut to somebody's birthday party. So Forbes has a sister named Beatrice. Apparently she was obsessed with Dennis, the fuck / rich boy, even though Dennis and Nikki social media girl, are in a relationship. At the party, Beatrice sees Dennis and Nikki together and apparently absolutely loses her effing mind. Forbes and Dennis break up the fight, but then they themselves get into a physical altercation. The cops show up. I think maybe Dennis pieces out, but then Forbes is left there and he ends up getting expelled for getting his underage sister drunk at a party on school freaking property. I'm guessing, because otherwise how would the school get involved? But anyway, it doesn't really matter. Forbes gets expelled because of that whole situation. But somehow, apparently, he can still, without a college degree, gets hired by some California tech company to start doing weird, cool, techie shit, even though he doesn't have a degree and he just got kicked out of college. But whatever. And no one's heard from him since, apparently. After the exposition dump, it's time for dinner. Our little stoner girly pop, Brooke, has this RGB art that's actually kind of cool, and she is showing how this one picture can be different based on the different little film colors that she uses on it. And this, I guess, is an explanation for why the rest of the movie is just lit so fucking weird. I'm not smart enough to understand the symbolism that it's meant to represent, but the lighting is harsh and wild, so prepare yourselves. So homeboy who's getting married, Ruben, like I mentioned, he's still in love with his ex-girlfriend Maya. Why he's getting married if he's still in love with his ex-girlfriend, I don't fucking know, but whatever. We're moving on. All right, so creepy white boy Forbes, he looks like he eats people's liver with fava beans for fun on Sunday evenings. His arrival is the start of the really harsh RBG lighting. So our possibly creepy fucking cannibal white boy Forbes brought a game to play. Would you like to play a game? And I cannot express to you enough how I would not trust this man with electrodes anywhere near my fucking brain. No, I wouldn't even leave my drink around him. So they all have a really short test run of this game. Basically what this machine that Forbes invented does is it switches people's consciousness. So everybody, Scooby-Doo movie style, switches fucking bodies. And the point of the game is to try and guess who's in whoever's body. And the last person who gets guessed, I guess, wins. But nobody ever really, we never really get to that point in either of the rounds, and nobody ever really wins. So, but whatever, it's fine. It's whatever. So that's the premise. And after this short little test run, everybody kind of decides if they want to play a full round of the game. Now, Shelby kind of doesn't want to play. She's kind of freaked out, but Cyrus, her shithead boyfriend, he's like, be a good sport, come on, let's play, it's a party. Fucking fuckface. Anyway, the rest of the group doesn't seem to have Shelby's reservations, and everybody decides to go for a full round of actually playing the game. Now, apparently, Forbes is the only one who knows who's been switched and whose bodies. And he says, because I know this, I won't make any formal guesses about who's in whose body because I know, and that would be cheating. The game begins. So, round 1. Shelby is in Brooke's body. Maya is in Nikki's body. Brooke is in Maya's body. And Nikki is in Shelby's body. Forbes is in Dennis's body, but he pretends he's in Ruben's body. Ruben is in Forbes. Dennis is in Cyrus. And Cyrus is in Ruben, but he's forced to pretend he's Forbes. That's what's going down. Are you confused? Because same. I definitely was, and I didn't have these lovely visuals here that I'm going to put on screen at some point. Now, Maya, who's in Nikki's body, makes out with Cyrus, who's in Ruben's body, but Maya thinks it's Forbes because Forbes lied about being in Dennis's body. So Maya is making out with her ex-boyfriend's body, which is weird, and then Cyrus is making out with the girl who's he's obsessed with's body. So yeah, it's kind of like a wet dream for them both, I guess, but it's highly uncomfortable. And that's pretty much all that happens in round 1, and then everybody goes back to their body. In the interim of round 1 and 2, Dennis pulls Forbes aside. Everybody's back in their bodies, everybody's back in their body now. So Dennis tells Forbes that he and Ruben are the ones that went to the dean to get him expelled. And Dennis is kind of apologizing for this, and that's why Forbes ended up getting expelled, because his two friends, Dennis and Ruben, went to the dean of their college and was like, he got his high school age sister drunk at a party that they were also all at. It doesn't matter. Super fucking randomly, Shelby's like, wants to know how the machine works.
Can you still show me how it works?
So Forbes like shows her. Yeah, that'll come back later. Now, all of a sudden, Cyrus isn't so into playing the game, but now Shelby like is super into it and is upset that he's not into it. So basically he wants to have like a signal with Shelby so they know who the two of them are. So they decide on this weird like eyebrow touching hand signal so they can figure out who each other are. But Cyrus does the signal and like nobody responds to it at the beginning of the second round. So in round 2, Shelby is in Nikki's body, Maya is in Shelby, Brooke is in Maya, Nikki is in Brooke, Forbes is in Ruben, Ruben is in Dennis, Dennis is in Cyrus, and Cyrus is in Forbes. So Shelby is like living her best life. Like all of her dreams have come true. She is in the body of the person that her boyfriend is obsessed with, and she kind of by extension has also been a little bit obsessed with. So yeah, she's trying to pretend. She doesn't respond to Cyrus's like eyebrow scratching signal, weird whatever thing, and she goes to try and make out with him while he's in Forbes's body, and he is like super not into it. Even though it was perfectly fine in the last round when it was somebody who wasn't his girlfriend in Nikki's body, he was totally down to make out with her, which just goes to show he fucking hates his girlfriend. So Ruben, while in Dennis's body, goes upstairs with Brooke, who's in Maya's body, and they start banging on the fucking balcony, which is just like such an invasion of somebody else's like body. I guess we can't even really get into how absolutely fucked up that is, because they both fall off the roof and get impaled on the uterus statue. I wish these were words that I didn't have to say, but that's what happens. So that means that Maya, who's currently in Shelby's body, and Dennis, who's currently in Cyrus's body, don't have bodies to go back into now because their bodies are dead, and Forbes cannot put a consciousness into a dead body, which makes a lot of sense because it would just be killing them. So Brooke and Ruben are now dead, even though the bodies that are now dead are Maya and Dennis. It's really Brooke and Ruben that are gone. So Nikki, who's in Brooke's body, wants to call the cops, but Forbes, who's in Ruben's body, is hella not down with that plan. Cyrus, who's in Forbes's body, agrees. He wants to call the cops. However, Maya, who's in Shelby's body, and Dennis, who's in Cyrus's body, they don't agree. Cyrus thinks the plan should be Dennis goes into Ruben's body, Maya goes into Brooke's body, everybody else goes back into their original bodies, and everybody just lives the rest of their life that way. Dennis, who's in Cyrus, doesn't like this plan because he's pissed that he's the only one that should have to live his life in a different fucking body. In a fit that I can really only call a temper tantrum, Dennis, as Cyrus, admits to hooking up with Beatrice while he was with Nikki in college, but he also calls out Cyrus for being the one to spill the beans to Nikki about this because he was so into her. Dennis says that the only reason why Cyrus did this back in college was hoping that Nikki would then want to hook up with him, but she didn't want to do that. So then he just hopped into a relationship with Shelby, basically because she was there. And they've been in a relationship ever since, and it's been like 9 years since all of this happened. I hate this white man. So Cyrus, as a retort to Dennis, basically calling Cyrus out on his fucking bullshit, says that Dennis is an absolute waste of space because he's a rich kid and he never did anything useful with his life after college. Dennis, in response, what does he do? Well, he calls 911 while in Cyrus's body, so it's Cyrus's voice, and admits to murdering Maya and Dennis, even though they absolutely weren't murdered. Like, they fell off of a roof, but he calls 911 and admits to murdering them. and then hangs up the phone. Sending the police on their way to the house because you can't just admit to murder on the phone and it be chill. While all of this is going down, Forbes, who's in Ruben's body, tries to make a fucking break for it, grabs the machine and tries to like head to a car in GTFO. So Nikki, while in Brooke's body, grabs like a fire poker or something and clocks him against the head, knocking him out, which is just not how head injuries work. Cyrus and Nikki get together and Nikki is like dead set on getting back in her body, as is like Cyrus for whatever reason, even though he's about to like be, you know, in fucking prison. But Nikki says, you help me get back into my body, I will go to the cops and be like, yeah, no, he didn't do the deed. She like makes him that promise. The only issue here is that Shelby does not want out of Nikki's body. She's like, bitch, I'm fucking happy. This movie is so absolutely fucking insane that I got this next part wrong. So please enjoy voiceover that does not match the video because it's wrong. Shelby is upset because she finds out that she was a consolation prize, and Cyrus really tries to patch things together and fix it, but it just doesn't work. So Shelby asks Cyrus in a really like genuine, heartbreaking way, why don't you touch me? Why aren't you sexually attracted to me anymore? His response? IDK, I'll do better. Might as well have said, I'll say whatever it takes to get what I want. Maya, as Shelby, outs Cyrus, saying that while she was in Nikki's body, in the first round, while Maya was in Nikki's body, Cyrus was like more than happy to go and make out with her. And she kind of also alludes to the fact that this reincarnation into Shelby's body is a way for her to atone for the sins of wanting to make out with her ex-boyfriend who's getting married, which just go to fucking therapy. You don't need to be in somebody else's body, Maya. What are you doing to me? So Shelby, while in Nikki's body, makes a TikTok basically and threatens to post it, and the TikTok is like horrible. It's like, fuck poor people, fuck black people, I hate everybody, I'm a terrible person. And she threatens to post it if Nikki won't leave her and Forbes, who's in Ruben's body, alone together so they can talk. Of course, Nikki, who's in Brooke's body, is like, okay, fine. But Nikki tells Dennis, and Dennis is in Cyrus's body. There's actually the only reason why any of this is comprehensible, because during these serious conversations, we get like a switch and suddenly everything's in red and we can see who's actually speaking to each other. So Nikki, while in Brooke's body, and Dennis, while in Cyrus's body, have this conversation. And Nikki basically says Shelby's planning to fuck everybody over except for her and Cyrus. So here's what we're gonna do. Have Dennis switch into Forbes's body. She'll go back into her body and force everybody to go back into everybody else's body, pretty much, as they originally wanted to do in the beginning. So while Shelby in Nikki's body is like getting everything set up for the switch, which she's being a fibber and not being honest about what she really wants to do, Nikki, while in Brooke's body, takes peanut butter and shoves it into her own mouth, causing an allergic reaction. And she refuses to get her EpiPen until Forbes changes the wiring. While all of this is going on, during all of this mayhem of Shelby while in Nikki's body going into anaphylactic fucking shock, it's also discovered that somebody took all of Dennis's money out of his account. And he's like, who took all of my fucking money? And then the cops show up. Forbes, after having like rewired everything, flips the switch, everybody changes, and then the cops show up. We get to the third and final act. Cyrus is in his own body. Shelby is in her own body. Forbes is in Beatrice. Hold on. Beatrice is in Nikki's body. Dennis is in Forbes's body. Nikki is in Ruben, and Maya is in Brooke. We learn that Dennis was having an actual affair with Beatrice while he was in college and she was in high school, so vile. That's why she fucking freaked out at the party. Not just because she had a crush on Dennis, but because they were actually having an affair. So she got stuck in an institution. While in the institution, Forbes, as himself, goes to her and is like, hey, let's try out this new machine thing that I made at my tech company in California so we can bond. After he switches their bodies, Beatrice knocks Forbes out, who's now in her body, takes the machine and runs off to this party. So Forbes the entire time has been Beatrice, his sister, who's basically enacting like this revenge plan that she's had for like a decade. Why she was still in a mental institution? Like 10 years later. It's whatever. So Cyrus is in prison because Nikki, I guess, didn't make it back in her own body, so she went back on that promise to like vouch for him to the cops. Shelby goes to prison to see him and basically is like, because you were a shitty boyfriend, I'm gonna leave you in prison for murder. And that's the end of the movie, folks. That's the end of the movie. After all of these revelations about like it really being Beatrice the whole time that was in Forbes' body, she, while in Nikki's body, has run off with Dennis's money and the machine to go start a new life, I guess. And that's the end of the fucking movie. Besides the fact that this couldn't be more confusing and fucking convoluted, how are you going to end the movie like that? That was one of the endings. That was one of those times at the end of the movie where I verbally said out loud, that is not the end of the movie. But in fact, it was. It was the end of the movie. That's it. That's all she wrote. This was confusing and convoluted, and like you really didn't care for a single person in the movie. Like my heartstrings, I didn't give a fuck. I didn't give a fuck when people died. I didn't give a fuck when whoever was in whoever's body trying to like live out their fantasy for the rest of their lives. Didn't care. Didn't care. Nobody had a fully formed personality or like really understandable motives, except for maybe Beatrice. But that was the end of the movie. Thanks so much for watching. Go ahead and press some buttons down below if you're into that kind of thing. If not, I'll see you in the next one.